Alright, so here's the finished sheath, and it's still a little bit damp from the oil, but it's in good enough shape to be, once it sits in the drawer for a little while, it'll dry out. In hindsight, I should have burnished the edges before I sewed this, especially right here because I stitched over the end of the piece, so it's kind of hard to burnish over a thread. Probably could have just broke it if I went too crazy. So maybe next time I'll just burnish the edges and maybe dye it. It doesn't matter really, because this is just a tool that I'm going to keep in my toolbox. It's not really, for show or for a customer or anything. But anyway, I really like making these little sheaths, and they're not the most durable thing in the world if you're going to carry the knife, because you could cut through the stitches because there's no welt here, and so if you really aggressively went in at an angle, you could cut through the threads, and so that alone might turn you off from doing this style. But what I found is if the blade just hangs out in a drawer or in a toolbox, and you just grab it occasionally to use it for a project, these hold up for a long time. And as a matter of fact, some of my first leather projects, period, were things like this. And this is one of the very first leather things I ever made. And I think I literally just sewed this. I didn't use any cement or anything. And it's been years since I did this. And it's for a chisel. I've got maybe half a dozen of these that I made different sizes. And this is a pretty good solution because the chisel tip isn't going to cut through the threads too easily at the end. On the way in it could, I guess. But I could probably add a welt to this, and it would be a non-issue entirely. But like I said, I did this years ago and it's held up fine. Couldn't do a welt on this style, or at least I wouldn't, because it just adds too much thickness. Maybe I could do like a hair thin welt, but it just adds too much time to make this, a good solution. Because you could use something like the piece of foam that I had for forever on this blade. This is just a piece of insulating foam board, like that you would get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and pretty handy, especially if you acquire like a dozen knives, like on eBay or something like that, and you just need something that works. This foam board's pretty handy for that. Also, here's another use for that sheath style. This is my skiving knife, and works just fine for this guy. And since the blade's in the center, there's no risk of cutting anything on that, so and it works. And plus the blade's curved, so it's a nice solution. But anyway, just a little idea. If you have some blades or some sharp tools, if you had like a pointed wood carving tool, something like the sheath style would work for that too. You just make a smaller version of that. But anyway, as always, just be creative. It's fun to make things like this, so it kind of gives your tool set character, and lets you kind of explore ideas you have. Maybe while you're working on something, you come up with an idea that you can explore. So anyway, thanks for watching.